A centralized economy, also known as a command economy, is an economic system where the government or a central authority makes all decisions regarding the production and distribution of goods and services. This system stands in contrast to a market economy where decisions are driven by individual producers and consumers through supply and demand. While centralized economies have their advantages, they also come with significant drawbacks. Understanding both the pros and cons of a centralized economy is crucial for a comprehensive evaluation of this economic model. One of the primary advantages of a centralized economy is the ability to quickly mobilize resources and implement large-scale projects. In a centralized economy, the government can direct resources towards specific sectors or initiatives without the delays and inefficiencies that can occur in a market economy. For example, during times of war or national emergency, a centralized economy can rapidly reallocate resources to support the war effort or address the crisis. This ability to act swiftly and decisively can be beneficial in achieving national goals or responding to urgent needs. Additionally, centralized economies can achieve high levels of economic planning and coordination. By controlling the production and distribution of goods and services, the government can ensure that resources are used efficiently and that production aligns with the country's strategic objectives. This can lead to the development of key industries, infrastructure, and technology that might be neglected in a market economy driven by short-term profit motives. For example, the Soviet Union's centralized economy enabled it to achieve rapid industrialization in the early 20th century, transforming the nation from an agrarian society into a major industrial power. Another advantage of a centralized economy is the potential for reducing income inequality. Since the government controls the distribution of wealth and resources, it can implement policies that promote a more equitable distribution of income. This can be achieved through mechanisms such as wage controls, social welfare programs, and progressive taxation. By ensuring that everyone has access to basic necessities and opportunities, a centralized economy can promote social stability and reduce the disparities between rich and poor. Centralized economies can also provide comprehensive social services and public goods. In a command economy, the government typically takes responsibility for providing healthcare, education, housing, and other essential services. This can ensure that all citizens have access to these services, regardless of their ability to pay. By prioritizing the well-being of the population, a centralized economy can achieve significant improvements in public health, literacy, and overall quality of life. However, the centralized economy is not without its significant disadvantages. One of the major drawbacks is the lack of economic efficiency. In a command economy, the absence of market signals such as prices and competition can lead to misallocation of resources and inefficiencies in production. Without the feedback mechanisms inherent in a market economy, central planners may make decisions that do not reflect consumer preferences or actual demand. This can result in overproduction of some goods and shortages of others, leading to waste and economic inefficiencies. Another disadvantage of a centralized economy is the lack of innovation and entrepreneurship. In a command economy, the government controls all aspects of production and distribution, leaving little room for individual initiative or creativity. The absence of competition and profit motives can stifle innovation and reduce the incentive for businesses to improve products or services. This can lead to stagnation and a lack of technological advancement, ultimately hindering economic growth and development. Bureaucracy and corruption are also significant issues in centralized economies. The concentration of economic power in the hands of the government can lead to excessive bureaucracy, as layers of administration are required to manage and oversee economic activities. This can result in inefficiencies, delays, and a lack of responsiveness to changing conditions. Moreover, the concentration of power can create opportunities for corruption, as government officials may exploit their positions for personal gain. Corruption can further undermine economic efficiency and erode public trust in the government. Centralized economies also face challenges in responding to consumer needs and preferences. In a command economy, the government determines what goods and services are produced, often based on political or ideological considerations rather than consumer demand. This can lead to a lack of diversity in products and services, as well as a mismatch between what is produced and what consumers actually want. As a result, consumers may face limited choices and lower quality goods compared to those available in a market economy. Economic growth in centralized economies can be slower and less sustainable than in market economies. While centralized economies can achieve rapid growth in specific sectors through directed investment and planning, this growth may not be sustainable in the long term. The lack of market mechanisms can lead to distortions and imbalances in the economy, making it difficult to sustain high levels of growth. Additionally, the rigidity of a command economy can hinder its ability to adapt to changing global economic conditions, leading to economic stagnation or decline. Another significant drawback is the restriction of individual freedoms. In a centralized economy, the government exerts significant control over economic activities, often extending to other aspects of life. This can limit personal freedoms and individual rights, as the government may impose strict regulations and policies to maintain control. The lack of economic freedom can stifle individual initiative and reduce the overall dynamism of society. The environmental impact of centralized economies can also be a concern. Centralized economies may prioritize industrial growth and resource extraction without considering environmental consequences. The lack of market-based incentives for sustainable practices can lead to environmental degradation and depletion of natural resources. Additionally, centralized economies may lack the regulatory frameworks and enforcement mechanisms needed to address environmental issues effectively. In conclusion, the centralized economy offers several advantages, including the ability to mobilize resources quickly, achieve economic planning and coordination, reduce income inequality, and provide comprehensive social services. However, these benefits are accompanied by significant drawbacks, such as economic inefficiency, lack of innovation, bureaucracy and corruption, challenges in responding to consumer needs, slower economic growth, restriction of individual freedoms, and potential environmental impacts. The effectiveness of a centralized economy ultimately depends on the ability of the government to balance these advantages and disadvantages while addressing the specific needs and challenges of the society it governs. The debate over the merits of centralized versus market economies continues, reflecting the complex and multifaceted nature of economic systems.